Hi everyone, this is Sherita Edwards and I will be reviewing the topic data cleaning for this week's Teach 1 assignment for HAP 709 summer session. Before we begin talking about using SQL to prepare our data or to clean our data, let's just review what SQL is. SQL is structured query language and it is used for storing, retrieving, manipulating data within relational database management systems. The functions of SQL can be remembered by using the acronym CRUD. SQL is used to create data, retrieve data, update data, delete data. Dr. Alemi estimates that 80% of the data analysis time is spent on preparing data before the data can be used for analysis. So what is data cleaning? Data cleaning is the process of detecting and correcting corrupt or inaccurate records from a record set, table, or database, and refers to the identifying incomplete, incorrect, inaccurate, or irrelevant parts of the data. Clean data reflects the following criteria. You want your clean data to be accurate, valid, complete, consistent, uniform, and to have integrity. The steps that you take in cleaning your data are very important because the decisions that you make in preparing your data can radically change the statistical findings, according to Dr. Alemi. I've provided 4 of the many steps involved in data cleaning. The 4 that I would like to focus on are removing duplicates in the data set, removing zombies or unborn, removing inconsistencies in the data, and updating missing fields. SQL can be used to identify and remove duplicates in patient records. This slide is an example of SQL code that can be used to identify and remove duplicate entries for a patient. This code removes duplicates for the same patient with the same diagnosis that is reported on the same day. The group by command keeps only one entry if there are duplicates of the same entry. This is my favorite portion of the data cleaning lecture. It involves zombies and unborns. I bet you're wondering why we're discussing supernatural terms in regards to SQL, so I will cover these 2 terms. Dr. Alemi refers to patient visits that occur after the date of death as zombies and patient visits that occur before the date of birth as unborns. What you see on this slide is an example of SQL code that, when entered, will only keep patients with reasonable dates of birth, and these dates can be adjusted for the range of patients that you're looking for. This slide is a picture representation of the query results that you get when you use an SQL code that will exclude the unborns from a data set. In regards to removing inconsistent data, this slide represents 2 different codes for removing 2 types of inconsistent data. The top example is an example of code to remove the record of a pregnant male, which is not reasonable data. The second code below will remove a record for a patient over the age of 110 because that is also not a reasonable data. This last slide deals with missing data and how to handle that. This is an example of an SQL code that replaces a blank space in the data with the null value. A null value is a field that has been left blank during the creation of the record. If there is a blank for the patient under diagnosis, and we want to assume that the information is blank because the patient doesn't have the diagnosis, we can use a code like this one here. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope that it was helpful.